interconnected world, the marriage of finance and technology has birthed some amazing innovations. And these innovations ensure that, regardless of where you're from in the world, you have the same access to tools and opportunities that can drastically change your life. Today, we'll go on a short journey to explore 3 companies who are making financial inclusion a reality. So let's dive in.
So Tamio Impact Fund Solution, a few words on our company. So we are an impact investing specialist based in Switzerland, and our primary goal is to provide support services for a variety of market participants, mainly public and private investors, in order for them to support them throughout their impact investing journey, to channel and foster more capital towards developing countries. Tamio Analytics is our company's brand new digital solution that incorporates comprehensive data on a variety of impact investing strategies that channel capital from asset owners through fund managers towards developing countries. So where we want to go? In the coming years, we aspire for Tamio Analytics to really be the centralized place and data solution for the impact investing industry, to be able to access very hands-on and comprehensive data on the variety of impact investing strategies, including financial inclusion fund strategies that invest towards developing countries, and having really state-of-the-art information and benchmarks on both financial and impact components of these solutions, and how this relates to where the market is going, and to bridge the gap in terms of accessing really private market information on these solutions. So we really welcome all market participants to try out our new app and provide feedback. Of course, the app is available here, and we really invite you to have a look, navigate, and really get going by understanding who are the fund managers and what are the types of funds available to foster financial inclusion towards developing countries.
Good morning, I'm Sylvain Massot, I'm co-founder of Impact. So what is Impact? Impact is it's a platform that assesses the social or environmental impact that large listed companies have on the planet and society. Why is it so important to assess, the impact of large listed companies? Actually, because we know that these are the large companies with the financial means to achieve the 17 SDGs by 2030. What is so special actually about impact? It's actually twofold. First of all, unlike traditional ESG provider, we are actually measuring what impact companies have on the planet and society. Not whether they have good policies or not whether they have good practices. But the second point, which is really important about impact, is that we're not the one deciding what's important in terms of impact. We rely on a big community of 50,000 trained members who are the one who are going to assess whether the impact from plastic pollution is more important than the impact, for example, of financial inclusion. And today, on Impact, we have gathered as many as 1 million such ratings to decide, or to let the civil society decide what is really important. Okay, now about financial inclusion. Financial inclusion is really the cornerstone of sustainable development. As defined by the World Bank, actually, financial inclusion is really about both individuals and businesses, and to provide them with access to useful and affordable financial products, whether it's banking or whether it's insurance. It's actually, we're talking about 2.5 billion people who do not have such access today. So it's a big topic, and actually it's a big topic when you look at the SDGs I mentioned before, because we know that if we want to achieve the SDGs, financial inclusion is critical. As many as 7 out of the 17 SDGs actually are related to financial inclusion. So how do we get to assess the impact that companies have on financial inclusion? Actually, our approach at Impact consists in documenting many impact topics. If you look at environmental, social topics, we have documented as many as 78 such topics. Let's say roughly half of them are actually social topics as opposed to environmental topics. These topics may be actually universal topics, and here we're talking about, for example, job creation. Every company is exposed to job creation. They may be more industry specific, so let's say, for example, companies that contribute to cure or feed the planet, or they can be much more company specific, like human rights, for example. So what we have done is we have documented each of these topics with a dedicated analysis. And this analysis is, one topic on one company at a time. Today we have produced as many as 40,000 such analyses. And these analyses have been posted on the platform, and then they have been assessed by a vast community of raters. So each analysis is receiving multiple assessments from the civil society. When it comes to the specific theme of financial inclusion, we have produced hundreds of such analyses, captured primarily with two different topics. The first one is access to underserved communities, especially, like rural areas and minority groups, which do not necessarily have access to financial services today. Or actually, the other topics which is related, as described by the World Bank, is the SMEs in developing countries. So empowerment of SMEs by giving this business access to digitalization, microloans, or insurance. But we're not just assessing the positive topics, because when you look at financial inclusion, it's also important to look at the flip side, which we would obviously describe as financial exclusion, or in this instance, a negative topic like financial excess, where, lending practices, for example, are contributing to excessive credit card insurance, for example, which contributes to customers' indebtedness. Okay, so now what about our selection of social impact champions that are contributing to financial inclusion? Well, in fact, we have identified many listed companies that, you would say are not your typical social enterprises that are contributing. In fact, these large companies, they are contributing more than their fair share towards financial inclusion. And that's primarily through the social innovation. These listed companies can really be considered as champions of financial inclusion. So let me just give you a couple of examples of companies you find on the platform. First example, Fair Isaac Corp. So Fair Isaac Corp is it's a medium-sized US company, and this company is developing data management services that enable actually businesses to automate and connect the decision. Fair Isaac has actually pioneered credit risk scoring with its methodology, which is called FICO scores. And FICO score has been used really across the industry. It's become such a standard for lenders worldwide. Specifically, it's been used extensively in Latin America by financial institutions such as Mexican banks and microfinance institutions. So why is it so important? Because these solutions have helped identify credit applicants which normally would have had no access to lending, no credit history. What's the outcome of FICO when you look at South America? Twofold. First of all, thanks to FICO score, Mexican banks have been able to grant loans to multiple individuals who previously were totally unbanked. We're talking about potentially 20 million Mexican people, especially students, homemakers, who previously had no access to loan. Second example, we're talking about microfinance. My Banco, which is the largest Latin American microfinance institute, has adopted also that FICO platform and provided loans to many SMEs in South America during the COVID crisis. And so, a company like Fair Isaac on our platform is obviously scoring very well on SDG 8, where you find a lot of the financial inclusion. And because our community decided that this is actually a very important topic, it's also reflected in the overall score, which is very much influenced by this SDG 8. And this company has a very positive score thanks to its social initiative on the impact platform. Second example, Tokyo Marine. Tokyo Marine is one of the largest Japanese insurance company, and actually it's an operator globally. Now, about financial inclusion and Tokyo Marine, it's interesting to see that they have established a joint venture. Here we're talking about India, and we're talking about the Indian Farmers Fertilizer Cooperative Limited. And really here we're talking about focusing on low-income farmers and providing them micro-insurance products which are really tailored to the specific needs that you have in India. So it's providing affordable insurance products like accident insurance, property insurance, medical insurance, and you're addressing the vulnerabilities faced by the farmers, especially, in an area where you have significant weather vagaries with monsoons, with good years being followed by bad years. So in terms of outcome on financial inclusion, I'll give you just two examples. The first one is the micro-insurance coverage itself. So that joint venture is providing low-cost micro-insurance products to Indian farmers for accident insurance or medical insurance. But more interestingly, they're also offering them weather insurance. As I said, we're talking about areas affected by monsoon, and this low-cost weather insurance enable, to smooth the pattern between the good and the bad years. In total, this joint venture has provided such micro insurance or weather insurance to as many as 4 million people, farmers in rural areas of India. And once again, when you look at the score that a company like Tokyo Marine has on the platform, it's very much influenced by SDG 8, itself a function of financial inclusion. And that's another example of a company which has a positive score on the platform thanks to its social contribution. So these are just two examples among many, on our platform of how large listed companies can contribute to financial inclusion. They're not isolated examples. On our platform, our community has actually helped us to identify about 100 companies from the banking sector, but not just banking and insurance, software and IT, many different sectors that are contributors towards addressing the issue of financial inclusion. We have actually built an index of social impact champions where financial inclusion is actually very important. These companies you can find on our platform, and feel free to visit www.impact.com, where you can find many other examples of financial inclusion. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Tomasz Orpiszewski. I'm a senior researcher at the Zurich University of Applied Sciences, speaking to you from the AI plus X Summit hosted today in Zurich by the ETH Zurich. And I am very happy today to tell you more about the Tech for SDG solution, yet perhaps a bit about my background. I spent a number of years in asset management as a strategist, fund manager, and quantitative researcher. And for the last 4 years at the Zurich University of Applied Sciences, I have been working on topics on the intersection between sustainable finance and new technologies. This means natural language processing applied to text and news data, satellite images and processing, spatial data and geoinformatics, and on top of this, of course, we use the machine learning and data science approaches to put it all together and apply the new technologies for the benefit of of investors. The challenge we're trying to confront is how to help communities in developing countries to overcome problems related to access to healthcare, water, food scarcity, education, and so on. And we've realized that there are thousands of small and medium enterprises in developing countries that play a crucial role in solving those problems, yet they need the funding and support from investors that are located in the northern hemisphere. Now, our goal is to link the problems that are in the developing countries with the SMEs that are operating there, with the investors that are here. Now, to do so, we have come up with workflows, data, and software that identifies, assesses, and geolocates SMEs in developing countries. For this, we have used several skills, such as, of course, IT. For this, we have employed a number of very skilled people with background in machine learning, IT, quantitative finance, and geoinformatics. And in this way, we have been able to scan through over 1 million of SMEs in developing countries, trying to pick up the ones that have highest impacts on the problems such as water, food, energy, and financial inclusion, and that can actually help remedy these problems. We applied a number of techniques in the field of natural language processing, data retrieval based on web scraping, and now we're able to finally identify which companies are likely to have a positive impact on the livelihoods of the people in these communities. On top of this, we have asked ourselves, where are the problems, the SDG problems present, and which communities are mostly affected by those problems? So what we decided to do is to first see which countries are plagued, for example, by water scarcity or pollution, or insufficient food, insufficient agricultural output and food scarcity. And we said, okay, so let's see in which regions we can find those problems. So we went farther and farther to see which exact communities are affected by the problem. And the answer to this is to show, okay, these are the companies that provide the remedy, yet they're actually too small for now to be attractive to impact investors. So let's see how we'll match them with the right financing solution. As an example of this approach, I would like to show you a simple case study of 2 pharmacy chains in India. So we checked where the pharmacy subsidiaries are present, and we want to see where are actually the healthcare problems in India that these pharmacies should be solving. And as you can see on the white dots are the subsidiaries. Many of those are located in Bihar, in the northern India, where poverty and access to healthcare remain a huge problem. And following this case study, we extended our maps to local scale, and now we're able to track the portfolios of impact investors worldwide, for example, for the LGT Foundation, to see where their investments provide a positive impact. So in which sector they're active, how does this sector solve an SDG problem, and is this problem limited, for example, only to the capital of a country, or does it also help the people that live, for example, in rural areas where the needs are very, very high? So all in all, we provide a solution that helps to identify, assess, and geolocate entire portfolios of impact companies and provides screening for new investment opportunities in developing countries. Our website is called tech4sdg.ch. It is active. We are currently looking for investors and use cases to test it and receive feedback and to improve it. For now, it is something that has been created out of InnoSwiss funding, so the public subsidy for research, but we would like to take it to another level, and we're looking for investors that would like to implement the system in their daily use. And so please visit Tech4SDG and upload your portfolio and provide us with feedback, and we will get back to you with a solution and an assessment. Thank you.